Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Arizona desert and we are checking out the brand new G900 Tripro dash cam from Wolfbox. Today we're gonna be hooking up the front bumper portion of this dash cam, and I'm gonna be showing you how to do that. And I'm gonna show you the best location to mount your camera. When it comes to mounting, you have several options. You can mount your little camera, whether you're gonna do it up here, do it on top of the bumper, or even do it up underneath the bumper. So we're gonna go ahead and look at all of those options. But first, let me show you how I wired up this camera. So we're gonna head back to the garage real quick. I'll show you how I wire the camera, and then we'll come back out here and then we will hook up the front camera. So let's go ahead and we'll do a quick unboxing. This dash cam has a 4K front camera, 2.5K rear camera, and 1080p bumper camera. It is also voice controlled and comes with 5.8 gigahertz of Wi-Fi for fast downloading to the Wolfbox phone app. The Tripro dash cam comes with a 256 gigabyte memory card, and this can be increased to, I believe, 512 gigabyte. This dash cam can be powered with the included cigarette lighter plug, or you can get the hardware kit. That way you can have the 24-hour parking monitoring. This is the rear camera, and you can see that it is securely wrapped with wire loom. That way it's well protected. So the bumper camera comes with about 20 foot of extension cable, long enough that you should be able to reach the dash cam all the way to your front bumper, even if you've got a bigger vehicle. And then it'll separate on this side. That way you can easily change out the camera if you need to, or just reposition the camera. So I'm going to show you where I mount this. It's going to be the same exact way that I mounted the wiring harness. We're going to come through this side. So let's start from the inside here. So we'll start with pushing this wire through. And again, as I've stated in previous videos, make sure you test all this wiring to make sure everything works before you start installing things. Just in case there's already a damaged wire, or just in case you end up damaging a wire, you might know which one is damaged. So we can start with installing this cable by pushing it through here. You might need to get a something to drive it through. And for my previously installed wires, I've got a little bit of extra slack in here. So I'm going to pull some through. And then now I can tape this onto here to pull it out the other end. Okay, and then now we should be able to go over the other side and pull this wire in there. All right, so on this part, I want to make sure that this protective covering is what's crossing through the body or through the firewall. So then the rest will stay inside. If for some reason you need more length, it would be okay to push this through the firewall even more, but I don't think I'll need more length, so I'm gonna just leave it protected there. So now we can run this wire up to the mirror, just like we run all the other wires. Right here is the new bumper camera wire. We do have a lot of extra slack, so I will pull some of it down to hide under the dash. Then we can tuck our wires. We'll tuck it in nicely when we're done. We'll tuck all these wires in there nicely. And we can move around to the front. So camera wire comes out to about this length. That's a good amount of length. Now we can route these wires so they don't get pinched anywhere. Definitely say I'm very impressed with how well protected the camera cable is for the front bumper camera. And because we don't exactly know where we're gonna put this camera, I'm just gonna temporarily route it through here. It'll come right here down in front under the grill. And then now we need to figure out where we're mounting it, whether or not I'm gonna mount it from here in the center or under the bumper. This will be able to be tied up until we go back out to the desert and see where it best would be mounted. So let's go ahead and get back out there and see where we want to mount this camera. So one of the areas that you could mount it is up here. And depending on your grill, it might change based on your Jeep. But we're gonna mount it up here and I'll show you what the view looks like from this angle. That way you can decide if you like it up higher. We'll do a little temporary mounting. All right, and just like that, I've got a temporary mounting location up here. That way my hopes are is that it'll shine down and show the ground area. So we will drive around like this and then we will reposition it and we'll get the best view for off-roading. So set this tripod right in front of the Jeep. That'll help simulate if you're gonna be coming up to a rock, kind of the angle that you're seeing. And I put this cardboard here to see if that'll be shown on any of the positions of the cameras. And again, this first position is gonna be up on the grill there. So let's take a look. All right, so you can see, looks like we're missing part of the legs of the tripod. Looks like we're missing part of the legs of the tripod. But out of the front camera, this is all you're able to see. It's just a little bit of the tripod. So you can adjust it nicely. And in this setting, you don't see any of the box. So let's do a little driving and see how this looks. So let's drive around and see how this footage looks. Just driving. Drive around and see how this footage looks. Just driving. So I'd probably angle it downward. And this is the screen I'd probably be looking at. So if I'm coming up on a rock, I can see that rock right there now. Should be climbing on it just like that. But I think this view is just too steep, too angled down. But let's say you're going up a incline and you need to see what's up over the other side. You can take this, you can aim downward. where, for instance, I can't see over the hood. But using this camera, where, for instance, I can't see over the hood. But using this camera, I can now see what's over the hood. But this is nice, because I can't see where that box is now, but I can line up this camera. Park in the same exact spot. So my vote is that this spot is not a very good spot. To use up here, your camera angle needs to be very wide. If this is like a 180-degree camera, this spot might be a little bit better. So now we're gonna move it down. We're gonna try underneath and see how that looks. You do have a higher chance of hitting rocks or anything when you mount it this low. But we gotta test it out and see how it actually is this low. So put it right here and we'll hold pressure for about 30 seconds. All right, so let's see how this view compares to the other ones with the same tripod setup, the same exact location. And already you can see the bottom of the tripod and you can see that box. And again, this is the view from under the bumper. And this is the view from the grill. See the box, so you see the bottom of the tripod. And you can angle it upward a little bit. That's about as high as you can see. So let's drive around and we'll see how this compares. That's really about as high as you need to look. You don't need to see the road way ahead. You just need to see where you can't see because of the hood. When off-roading, I'd probably keep it in this setting. You can see very wide, so that's nice. Oh yeah, I think that's a good mounting spot. Let's come up on this rock. So from the hood, like where I'm sitting, I don't see that rock anymore. That one right there. You can see it in the hood dash cam, but on the bumper, and I can imagine my tire is probably right about here. And now I am over it. I landed right on top of it. Just as I expected. Here I wanted to give a little bit of perspective. This is what we're looking at. This is what I used to use. It is so grainy. You can see that rock. But here, the quality that you're seeing, let's go ahead and skip to the footage so you can see the actual high quality camera, especially when compared to this. So you can see the actual high quality camera, especially when compared to this. And moving forward, the width of the cameras are about the same. But this one you just cannot see good at all. The other benefit of this type of camera is, let's say I'm by a rock and I forget that that rock's right there. Now I can see it and I can put my tire right on top of it. Because if this is the big rock, you don't want to drive over it like that. So you want to have a good quality camera showing you where these rocks are. this is my point of view. I'm sitting right here. But I can take this and look here and see everything in front. Make sure there's not a Jeep in front of me, or especially when it gets steeper. You can't even barely see what's in front of this camera, but you can still see everything right there. That's where these cameras make a difference. Same thing, I would be using this crappy camera. No detail in the footage. Good detail in this footage. So here's another example of how I don't see really over this hood from this angle. So I could take this and I can see what's down there. Make sure nothing's there. And then I keep driving. So let's go over these areas and see how the camera compares when looking up over these hills. Look, I can't see anything. But I can see over the top now. And that's where I would use this crappy camera. So that's a good quality feature to have. You know, not good quality, good quality. All right, here's another good example. Looking out, you don't see anything in front of you. But you look here, and you can see there is a thing to climb. Up over this peak, this is eye level. You don't see what's there, but with this camera I can look and see what's down the other side. Alright, so we just got done driving around the desert and testing out this G900 Tripro dash cam. Let me show you how I ended up mounting the final way. So if we go up under here, I ended up getting a extension piece of metal to bring it off the bumper and bring it back. That way, instead of it being farther forward, it can have a view from further back. And that's nice and secure there. And it's actually pretty tucked up. So if I get close to a rock, it'll also be close to my drag link. I've never hit any rocks on my drag link, so that's pretty good. So let's talk about my overall impressions of this dash cam. I would say having the front bumper camera is very important to have. I've had one on my stereo system for a long time, and it's very useful. I don't usually have a spotter. So if you don't have a spotter, or if you're the front of the pack, I'd say this is necessary to have. But if you do have a spotter, I still think it's necessary to have that bumper camera. It's very nice. It's a good view. The only areas that I think that this could be better is, let's say there was only 2 cameras plugged in. The view's a lot bigger, a lot easier to see with it being that big instead of split up into 3 views. So that's one thing that I would change, is having the ability to choose 2 cameras to view at a time instead of viewing all 3 cameras. just that size difference. The other thing I would recommend from Wolfbox is giving a trigger wire for the front camera. That way you can just click a button, it'll automatically activate, kind of like the rear button does. And since I have this camera here facing forward, I remounted my front camera that I have for the stereo, aiming this direction on the front axle. So this is my passenger tire. Here you can see the camera from Wolfbox right there. That way if I'm climbing a rock, I can see it on that tire. So overall, I am very impressed with this product from Wolfbox. This is the G900 Tripro. The bumper version, I would say this is necessary to get. I would just go all out and get the Tripro Dashcam. It's got a good rear camera, good front camera, and that bumper camera is awesome to have, especially for anybody who off-roads. The interior camera, you can use that version if that's what you need. But if you do off-roading, or if you've got a truck and you have to park in the garage, real tight spaces, this dash cam with the third camera is amazing. So there we go. That is my overall impression of this dash cam. Again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good day.